stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. As soon as I get untangled. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Woo!
Charlie, Philip, John is here. Trisha,
Right.
Sure.
Patricia told me she's going to be late. But you know, Patricia, for those you don't know, Patricia's getting married.
Oh, she is?
Therefore, Patricia is meeting with her, she's meeting with her.
Oh, when is the wedding? Oh, start early.
Welcome, distinguished Toastmaster.
I need somebody to be odd counter. I sent an email to Dave. I guess he's not in office and didn't answer me. Okay. Okay, we're going to skip Toastmaster Minute because our Toastmaster Minute was supposed to be Brandy, and Brandy told me she can't do it. So we're just going to skip it all together. Table topics is here. Speaker, I had to substitute for Speaker 1. So Speaker 1 told me at the last minute she can't. She had something come up. So I'm doing Speaker 1. I initially was doing Speaker 2, but then Donna asked me if she could do Speaker 2. So then, so I wasn't speaking. So then,
It's a good time to do table topics after the grammarian.
so then, this morning, Speaker 1 told me she couldn't. She had something come up, so she can't speak. So then I could put myself back on the speech on the agenda. So here we go. All right, Speaker 3 is going to be late. Have y'all noticed that the people that run Free Toast Host has changed the Free Toast Host? No, it was in the last couple of weeks. Cause haven't y'all noticed down here where on the support of speech thing is, it says manual dash pass slash project slash time. And then you say that. Anyway, they've been playing with it for the last couple of months, and it at one point they messed up my my default thing for Health Masters. I have to go in there and put it back in there. Anyhow, let's see. Adrian was supposed to be one to evaluate it. There he is. Now, I talked to Aaron this morning. He didn't say he wasn't coming, so I don't know where Aaron is. But since Table Topics is first, we'll give Aaron time to get here. Okay. All right. I'm going to hand the reins over to our Toastmaster today. Our Toastmaster today is none other than almost distinguished Toastmaster.
4 members away.
Almost distinguished Toastmaster Antoinette Mitchell.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Health Masters, we are in for a very good program today, for a good meeting. We are looking at the next person on the agenda as the grammarian. Before she sits down, the grammarian is none other than Joyce Biddle, helping me welcome Joyce Biddle with the word of the day.
A word of the day is persuasive. And I chose this word because I figured we need to be more persuasive in our dealings as Toastmasters. Persuasive, good at persuading someone to do or believe something through reasoning or the use of temptation. Use an incentive in a sentence an informative and persuasive speech.
Persuasive speech. All right. Everybody said persuasive.
Persuasive.
Persuasive is our word of the day. Let's use it. Oh, yes, ma'am. Here we are. All righty. Shake that hand. Yes, yes. All right. We see someone else coming. We can start our meeting now. Toastmaster Monique is here. Let's get it going. We are now ready for the table topics. You understand what table topics are? I believe everyone in here have. Does anyone have a question about table topics that we won't ask you, right? All right. We need you to stand and speak now. We need to make it longer than we have before, okay? Don't worry about the knocking that Adrian will do. Don't worry about the ahs. It'll all work itself out. Come on down, Toastmaster Distinguished Toastmaster Philip Borden, with your persuasive table topics.
Thank you. Good afternoon. For today's table topics is all about animals. Here's the first question. Here's the first question. If you had the ability to tame any one species of wild animal and then sell those animals as pets, which wild animal do you think that you would use that ability on? If you had the ability to tame and domesticate any wild animal, turn around and sell those now domesticated animals as pets, which one would you choose, Nicole Johnson?
Thank you. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters, Health Masters. If I could tame an animal, if I could domesticate a wild animal, what would it be? That's a great question. However, I'm trying to think of what I really want to talk about. Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm trying to take the politician route here because, unfortunately, I can't think of either. I can't think of what I want to talk about, nor can I think of yeah, but what animal would I want to tame? I'm not sure. I really don't know. I mean, I like the way, lions, I like lions. Yes, I like lions. I like, the tigers. Not so much the bears. However, if I could tame maybe a wild cat like that, maybe something like a lion or a leopard, because they're so beautiful, but they are pretty big. Those are some big cats. And even when you're talking about dogs, like I'm not a pet person, so I don't. And I'm just trying to figure out how to keep a plant alive. So I'm not a pet person, but dogs are growing on me. I don't like big dogs. I know that one time when I was living with my aunt and uncle, they were babysitting a pit bull mixed with an American bulldog, something like that. And both dogs came over to me while I was sitting on the couch, and one jumped up on the couch and sat next to me. And, of course, I was a little terrified, and I was like, good doggy, good doggy. But after that, I started liking pets. So I would say maybe a leopard, a lion, or something like that. Thank you. Thank you.
The next person. Thank you. You know what the topics master does when a table topics responder gets up and talks about whatever they want to talk about? The topics master gets back up and talks about what he wants to talk about. I heard a joke one time about a guy who worked at a zoo. Sadly, at this particular zoo, the zoo's only gorilla died. The management came to this employee handed him a gorilla suit and said, your job for the next few days is going to be to hang out in the empty gorilla cage, act like you're a gorilla just for a few days, just long enough until we can get another gorilla here from another zoo. He was hanging out in the gorilla cage, completely safe. Nobody was bothering him, pretending to be a gorilla. One of the things he did in acting like a gorilla is he climbed a tree. Now, this tree had some branches that hung out over into the lion's cage, over the fence. You can probably guess what happened. He fell out of the branches, fell over the fence, over into the lion's cage. The lion started walking over toward him. The guy in the gorilla suit started screaming and crying for help. The lion walked up to him and said, would you shut up? You're going to get us both fired. For our next question, if you worked at a zoo and management came to you and it was your job to pretend to be any animal in the zoo just for a few days, if you had your choice of which animal you'd want to pretend to be, which animal do you think you would like to be? I'm going to ask one of our newest members, Monique Monanu. Which animal would you like to pretend to be? And be persuasive.
Good afternoon. If I was at the zoo and had to be an animal for the day, is that correct? I think I would be, I don't know why, but I would say the giraffe. Every time when I go to the zoo, the giraffe seems to be like the coolest animal, always hanging out, eating from the trees, you know, not a lot of work involved. Although I do work, it would be great to just kind of hang out and have people be mesmerized by me and just, you know, walk around, just kind of showing myself off. So I think that, yeah, I can relate to the giraffe. It's, you know, it has a beautiful, I like the way it looks, the print of it, and it's different from a lot of the other animals. The tallest one, so I could stand tall and, you know, look around and see everything around in the zoo. And I think the giraffe would be what I would want to do for a day or two. That would be a great animal. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, just a reminder as we transition from table topics into our planned speeches, there are no wrong answers as long as you can be persuasive. Madam Toastmaster.
Good job. The next portion of the meeting will start with our three speakers. We're looking forward to hearing three speakers this afternoon. The first speaker is going to be Joyce Biddle. Joyce Biddle will be speaking from the Speaking to Inform manual. It is project number 1. The title of her speech is Your Toastmasters Profile. Your Toastmasters Profile. We will hear from Joyce Biddle. Let's welcome her to the lectern.
Well, given that Aaron has not showed up, I need an evaluator. You know, you're already evaluator number 2.
I know. I'm done with my role, so I can.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. For those of you who are not aware, there are actually two profiles as a member of this club that you can set up. One is on our Toastmasters Health Masters webpage, which when you go there, you have this. Now, I actually had this aimed for Brittany, because Brittany sent me an email the other day asking what's the web page for doing your profile. Brittany's not here. That was the reason for doing this. However, if you go here, you come in and you do a member login. You enter your, in my case, I've already set it up. So I've already set this up, so I just put my name in. That comes up. You click on that. Put in my password. Of course, it's not going to show you what my password is. And then it'll log in. You can go to edit your profile at that point. And it brings this up. Okay? Now you can make your profile either public or non-public. In my case, I made it public, so yes is clicked. Here you can change this part where it says your name with Toastmasters designation. Since I'm on DTM, I have Joyceville, DTM on here. You can put in what your primary email address is. So when we send emails from this website, this is the email it will go to. You also have a secondary email. You can put your telephone number in there. Well, actually, whatever I have set in what I have put in there when I put you in there, this will default to that information. This will have member sense, and your Toastmasters member ID will be in there. Okay? Now, email settings. This stuff is kind of also defaulted also. But you can go in here and put your social links. You can put a Facebook URL in there if you want to. Now, this is the most important part. The member bio and photo. You can put a bio in there. You can type in there whatever you want in that little paragraph. Actually, I need to go in there and update mine because this stuff, some of that stuff's in there old, I think. Well, maybe it's not. But, and then you can upload a photo, whatever photo you want uploaded. If you don't upload a photo, it will, whenever because on our agendas, we put pictures out there. Not all clubs do that. If you don't put a photo out there, the Toastmasters logo pops up when you have a role on the agenda. So you can do either. So I can say what I've done, or I can just close it and it won't do anything. Okay? That's the first profile. There's another profile for Toastmasters. Since you're a member of Toastmasters, Toastmasters International also sits out there. This is Toastmasters International. How many of you have actually been to the Toastmasters International website? Not everybody raised their hand. Toastmasters International has a lot of interesting stuff. Even if you never logged into it, there's a lot of stuff you can go to without logging in. Now, Ken? I thought it was going to work, Ken. It's not working, Ken. Where'd he go?
He's taking lunch.
Okay. Okay. Well, had it let me log in, you can go over to, wait, if it don't let me log in, how can I get there?
Go to education. I've been looking on that page a long time without logging in.
Yeah, but I was going to show them something.
You're going to show Health Masters
Dashboard. Yeah. You can look at the dashboard.
Well, we can look at this. If you go to Leadership Central, you can look at distinguished reports without logging in. We are in District 43. I go to this page all the time because I'm a division director. If you go to District 43, which is what district we're in, this is our performance report. Currently, right now, all the division directors are looking at this page all the time because we're coming down to the end of the year. We want to see if we're going to be distinguished when June 30th get here. And we're getting there because right now, our base at the end of last year was 104. 104 paid clubs. Right now, we're sitting at 96. To be distinguished, we need 108. So we're almost there. We need 8 more paid clubs. Okay? Well, actually, we probably need 12 more paid clubs. Okay. Now, not only do we need that many paid clubs, we also need this many paid members. Currently, we have 3,832. We need 4,459. We're getting there. If we get all this many paid clubs, we probably can get this many paid members. Okay? Now, we also need this many distinguished clubs. We need 42 distinguished clubs. Currently, we're sitting at 24. And we can get some more distinguished clubs, because I knew in Division B. Now, let me get off this page. You can see it better on this page. If you look at division and area performance, now we go down here to Division B. Division B already has 3 distinguished clubs. In fact, we already got a distinguished area. This area 2, B2, is already distinguished because they have 2 distinguished clubs already. One of those being Health Masters. Health Masters was the first club in the district to get President's Distinguished. High Noon was the first club in the district to be distinguished. So my division was on target. So right now, Area 3 is on target. Just about all 3 clubs have the goals. We need to get their membership back up. And they have a new club coming in. I called Toastmasters this morning. Their new club will be chartered today.
Which club?
Toast Crumbs.
Oh, Toast Crumbs.
Toast Crumbs will be chartered today. They're in Conway. They will be chartered today. So they'll be replacing the club I lost last year. All right. Now, that's not what I was going to show you about the profile, but since I couldn't get in there, that's what I got. Anyway, Division B is well on their way to get there. We got 96 play clubs in the district so far. 7 are sitting at distinguished. They need several more, but they're going to get there. And that is as y'all know, this is all our other stuff that y'all probably don't want to know about, but anyway. That's what I got.
Good job. Good work. Division B Director.
All right.
Taking us to new levels and new heights, persuading us to do things that we thought we could never do. At this time, the second speaker is going to be Jonna Jacobs. Jonna Jacobs' speech. She's handing out some handouts. Jonna's going to come with a speech from a prepared speech. Each Toastmaster must have a prepared speech from one of the Toastmasters manuals. New Toastmasters, you will be speaking from the Competent Communicators Manual to complete your first 10 speeches. Let's welcome Jonna Jacobs.
All right.
Hopefully the last one.
No, not quite the last one. Does anybody know how to get this down? Thank you.
Mic check. You know how to turn this down? You know how to turn the volume down on this mic? I don't just talk softer. Don't worry about it.
At least you can see it over here. Okay.
I can just talk
Okay.
softer. That's no
Welcome.
There we go.
Could you tell us how many minutes we'll need?
7, 5 to 7.
5 to 7, please.
2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. It's graduation time. It's a time filled with optimism and hope, with time when our young folks dream big and reach for the stars. Anything is possible. I wonder how many times this Robert Frost poem will be quoted in a graduation speech. The Road Not Taken. It's usually it's arguably one of the most recognizable poems by an American author in American literature, and it's often quoted because of its inspirational message of forging your own path in life, of self-discovery. It's a celebration of individualism. But that's not what this poem is about at all. You've been given copies of the poem, and I'll spare you my recitation. If you read the poem and take meaning in its entirety, you'll find that Frost is saying to his future self, I've taken both roads. And they're pretty much the same. The roads are interchangeable. In the poem, he says, though as for many, for that the passing there had warned them equally about the same. The less traveled road is actually equally traveled. He goes on to say, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. That morning neither road had been traveled. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. The chosen road will diverge again and again and again. And will there ever be a way back? This is a poem about choosing, no question. It's a poem about choosing and not choosing. And in not choosing, that is in itself a choice. Every choice leads to another choice. Is it a good or a bad choice? There are obviously bad choices to be made in life. Generally, though, making a choice will still lead you down a path, and that path will lead you to another choice, and that path will lead you to another choice. All these paths may circle back and land you in the same place, and then you start walking again, and you choose another path, and another path, and another path, and another path. But you just keep going, because life is full of choices. That is life. Mm-hmm. It is choices. And it's choices you make, and it's choices you don't make. And sometimes it's the choices that you don't make that have the biggest impact on your life. I can't quote the author, but they say, the only choice I regret is the one I didn't make. In this different interpretation of Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken, I still find a lot of inspiration. I myself am a bit of a late bloomer. I have, as you've probably heard so far, many different jobs, several that I call careers, lots of different educational paths and choices, and all of them led me right here. And there's no place that I'd rather be. And if I make another choice and it leads somewhere else, then I'll be right there. And that will be the best place to be for me. Those are where my choices are taking me in life. So when we talk to our young people and we tell them as they nervously enter the world, you have to go this way or this way or this way. You have to be a doctor or a lawyer, or you're going to disappoint, or you're going to fail. The world isn't like that anymore. The world is full of possibilities. It's full of choices. You can honestly do anything now with your life that you choose to do. You can even be president. We used to say that as an inspirational thought. Now it seems a little bit more of a threat. But that's opinion. And I close from a quote from one of my favorites, Yogi Berra. That I think is the real message of this poem. When you come to a fork in the road, take it. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Very good speech. Graduation material at its best. The last speaker that we will have today, but certainly not least, Charlie Simpson is going to bring us a speech regarding Let's Get Personal in the Storytelling Manual. I kind of thought of it as another type of Let's Get Personal, but I see he's got on his boxing gloves. It's going to be fight, fight, fight. Come on down, fighter. Give us what you got.
Dun, 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 dun.
We need the music.
Yeah, should have queued it up. Anybody ever been in a physical fight? No? Yeah, did you win?
Well,
Hey, we always get quiet when it comes to that one. You been in one?
Well, with my twin brother when I was very young, but we get little fights.
Those happen. Well, I had a altercation. The scariest moment of my life. I was in 5th grade.
Were you
Persuasive?
persuasive?
That's the word for the day? I missed the word for the day.
Were you persuasive?
So I'm going to persuade you all that I won.
Persuade, Toastmaster.
I was in 5th grade. We were at lunch. And at lunch, I brought my lunchbox. And when I go to lunch, we get ready to go to recess. And after lunch, you get your lunchbox and you take off running to the recess door. And you get that lunchbox, you throw it up against the wall, it hit the wall, and then it hit the ground, and we go to recess. Now at recess, all the boys played on one side, and all the girls played on the other side. They wouldn't mix us up because we were too mannish back then. So the teachers knew good and well to keep us divided. So all the boys are on one side of the playground, and we're playing ghetto football. Now, let me tell you about ghetto football. It's nothing like the regular organized football. What we did was grab a football, and it's about 20 of us, throw it in the air. Whoever catch it, just take off running, and all 19 boys go chasing after it. Daryl Highsmith was one of the guys out there playing. Now, Daryl was a shorter guy than I was. Pretty scrawny, but Daryl was the pretty boy in the group. All the girls liked him, and so he had a reputation to uphold. Daryl grabbed the football and just took off running. All 19 of us are chasing him. I'm the closest one to Daryl Highsmith. I get close to Daryl, and we're playing two-hand touch, so I reach out to touch Daryl and accidentally pushed him a little bit too hard. Daryl stumbled and fell in a pile of dirt. And you know when you hit the dirt, you have this big cloud of dust that just pile up. The big cloud fell up, and Daryl jumped up, and he wasn't angry, but he was embarrassed. So Daryl turned around, threw the ball down, came up to me, and pushed me back. Now, if somebody push you, what you got to do? You got to push them back. So I pushed Daryl back, and this is one of the scariest times in my life because I'm about to have my first fight. I pushed Daryl back. Daryl pushed me back. I pushed him back. He pushed me again. Now, there are two types of people that are in the circle whenever you get ready to fight. You have an instigator, and you have somebody that you got to impress. Now, Neil was the instigator. And at this time, we had all the boys circled around me and Daryl, and Neil starts to instigate. Now, Neil was the troublemaker in the 5th grade. He had been in several fights, and he didn't care about getting suspended. But I was scared. So Neil gets behind Daryl, pushes Daryl into me, and so I push Daryl back. Neil come around, push me into Daryl, and Daryl pushes me back. And Neil going back and forth with each one of us, trying to get us to fight, and we just steadily pushing each other. Now, at this time, all the girls that came around and circled me and Daryl. So the boys and all the 5th grade girls are around me and Daryl. Now, the person that I wanted to impress, her name was Francesca. Now, Francesca had the nice long hair. Francesca was the pretty girl that all the guys wanted. And so while I'm standing there, getting ready to fight Daryl, I make eye contact with Francesca. And I don't know if she was concerned about me or if I was concerned about persuading her that I was going to win. But one thing that I knew is I had to win this fight. Francesca is looking. We're still pushing each other, and Daryl is pushing me, and I'm pushing him back. Neil is going behind each one of us, pushing is trying to instigate things. Francesca is looking at me, and I'm scared, and I'm looking at her, and I knew that I had to win this fight. All the kids around at this time are doing their chant. Fight, 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 fight. Have anybody ever been in a situation like that? Oh, okay. I'm not the only one then. Okay. You're in the crowd. Now, were you the instigator or were you the one everybody was trying to impress? Oh, okay. That's just as instigating. Because if I would have heard that, I would have been just as even more scared. All of a sudden, as we are there pushing each other, something happened inside my body. It was this rush, this adrenaline rush. If you ever been in a fight and all of a sudden it's just, you just feel like you're about to turn into the Incredible Hulk type feeling. And it just went through my body. And it felt good. And I felt like I started to turn into the Incredible Hulk. I started feeling green. And I put my ugly face on. And Daryl was getting ready to come up and push me. And I cocked back. Balled up my fist. And I was about to say, here it comes. That feeling started coming. And one of the greatest things happened in that moment. The bell rang. You must know what I'm talking about. You must know. That bell rang and stabbed me, and I retracted my fist, and Daryl backed up, I backed up. We both were scared. I think he didn't want to fight just as much as I did. All the kids around us like, boo, like, oh, y'all scared. I'll walk on back, Daryl walk on back. We just walk on to the classroom, and that was the closest physical altercation I've ever been. Till this day, never been in a fight. Now, the thing about Daryl is me and him are real close friends now. And we had an opportunity to laugh about this incident, and he said to me, you know, Charlie, I've never seen you fight, so I ain't know what was going to happen. And I was like, I've seen you fight, and I ain't know if I could get you or not. Moral of the story is, if you don't know if you can fight, try to walk away. Saved by the bell.
Oh, what a wonderful, persuasive speech or entertaining speech that was. That came by Charlie Simpson. The next portion of our meeting is going to be for evaluation. The evaluator on the program is supposed to be Patricia Minor. Patricia Minor has not made it yet. I will continue for about 3 minutes until she shows or someone else volunteers. All right, come on down. Division B director, she led the division. She is leading us, even today, persuading.
All right. Let's give a whoop whoop for Division B. I know they have nothing to do. I have nothing to do with today's meeting, but hey, y'all just don't know how happy I feel about Division B right now, because we're leading the pack. We were the first division to have a distinguished area. Y'all just don't know how I feel about that. Oh, he does, because he had a distinguished area when he was division governor. They were governors then. Anyway, moving on. Oh, all right, let me get calm. All right, now we're going into the evaluation portion of our meeting. We'll start with evaluator number 1. Philip will be evaluating none other than Distinguished Toastmaster Joyce Biddle's speech.
Thank you, Joyce. I feel like we understand each other. There's definitely nothing like that feeling of looking at the district website and seeing your division first in the rankings of the 6 divisions in District 43. That's awesome. I'm here to evaluate Joyce's speech. It was a speech to inform, and I believe that you certainly did bring a lot of helpful information. It made it relatable to both the veteran Toastmasters and the newer Toastmasters in the audience. One of the hardest kinds of speeches to do is to walk through a live website in front of God and everybody. There's no safety net. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong, as we saw with the one hiccup on the login screen that didn't quite cooperate. It's obvious, Joyce, that you're a seasoned presenter to be able to, because I know when you're doing a speech like this, walking your way through a live website, you have to use at least half your brain to pay attention to what's going on the screen, and you can only use half your brain to form your ideas into sentences and words, to remember to use vocal variety, to remember not to use filler words. In fact, it almost has to come, you almost have to do this kind of speech enough so that it becomes second nature to use good vocal variety. It becomes second nature to speak without the use of filler words. Eye contact is even a strength that you almost can't use unless you have a monitor on the screen that's big enough to follow it. I thought you did a good job of not completely turning your back to the audience, as you may see some people do when they speak with the use of a monitor. It might have helped to bring the big screen down and have people rely on that while you relied on the screen that's closer. As far as your content of your speech, again, given the fact that you can only use half your brain to actually form your words into speech, I did catch the word stuff 2 times, and the word probably came out. Other than that, I didn't notice any speech that you might have been able to clean up. There's another trick that Joyce used in her speech. Did you notice what it was? Did Joyce use a laser pointer in her speech? No, she did not. How did she direct the audience's attention to specific places on the screen as she was speaking? What did she use? She used the mouse pointer. It's a good idea, if you can, to bring your own laptop when you know that you'll be presenting from a live website. Even if it's your own laptop, it's still not foolproof. It's not your internet connection. There are other things that could still happen. If you're able to, it's a good idea to bring your own laptop. If it's a PowerPoint, you don't have to worry about it. You click through the PowerPoint. If it's a live website, it's a good idea to have your own laptop and bring a mouse with you so that you can navigate and show the mouse pointer on the screen to direct your audience's eyes to what you're seeing. Otherwise, again, good job. I think we benefited from Joyce's experience as a presenter and as a division director. Overall, good speech. I look forward to future speeches. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Our next evaluator will be Distinguished Toastmaster Adrian Duncan as he evaluates Jana's speech on the road less traveled.
Madam Toastmaster, General Evaluator, yes. Distinguished Toastmaster, give her a big hand. Was she most persuasive? Give her a big hand. She was most persuasive. Toastmaster Jana, I like the way you take the road, because most of us oftentimes are not given a choice. Mom and Dad says, this is what you will do for the first 19 years of your life. Is that true? Yes. Did most of you have that? We were in school. The day we graduated was the most persuasive day of my life. Why? Because I found out the day I turned 19, I was independent on my own. And Miss Jana, you showed me how to change from one day to the next day. You told me, here is the backbone. Those of you in this room are the backbone of DHS Toastmasters at the Health Department. Do you know why? Because you have committed yourself to doing something out of the ordinary. And Miss Jana, Toastmaster Jana, that's exactly what you did. You opened it up with giving us a choice of roads. Which road do you want to travel in DHS? Do you want to be a distinguished Toastmaster? Are you persuasive enough to show individuals how it can be done? Yes. Did you tell us how we could do that? You did step 1, 2, 3, 4. You used the acronyms, the sentence structure, to show us how he did what he did. He took the smaller road, or he took the one that would help him reach the next goal. And that's exactly what you did, Toastmaster John, was showing us how we can make those decisions appropriately. When you closed, you stopped long enough to give us time to see, which road do I want to take? Do I want to say how to say it? Do I want to get to the point? Do I want to use visualization? Do I want to persuade someone? Or am I willing to inspire someone? What is my choice? I believe you did an outstanding job with showing us step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe you opened with a smooth idea for us to think about. I believe you showed us the extra points that one can decide whether to be excellent, mediocrity, or just plain, everyday, ordinary person Toastmasters. I believe with your closure, you gave us a challenge to decide, how do I make a decision today, this week, this month, this year? Will I become that person that I could be, or do I want to just let life teach me to be a person of mediocrity? Do you want to read and study? Do you want to observe? Do you want to make that extra effort to show the individual how you can achieve that which is impossible or seemingly impossible? Most of us don't believe we can do the impossible. Alone, you're right. There is no I in team. We at Arkansas Health Masters, Toastmasters, I believe what Jonna told us today, we are a team. We're all in this same path. Those of us may take a different road day by day. However, I believe we'll all wind up back here at our beginning in Health Masters, Toastmasters, being a distinguished club again next year, and most of us will be reaching for that top area that we have is the backbone. The resume that you have, the backbone, is the solid part that you have. I believe we as Toastmasters and Health Masters will become the backbone of tomorrow, those taking the less traveled path and achieving the goals that most of us have set forth. Madam Toastmaster, General Toastmaster, give me persuasive.
Our third evaluator will be Toastmaster Nicole Johnson as she evaluates Charlie's speech on fighting.
Greetings once again, fellow Toastmasters. No guests, I don't believe, but most importantly, greetings to you, Charlie, who's on your way to being a distinguished Toastmaster, I'm sure.
Right.
I personally enjoyed your story, Fight, 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 Fight. I appreciated how you came in with the gloves. And, of course, I'm just like, oh, okay, what's about to happen? So, you know, you already had my attention when you came down with the gloves. You did give us the moral of the story at the end where you said if you don't know if you can fight, just walk away. So I appreciated the moral of the story that you gave us. I believe that you developed the point of the story effectively. You gave really good... You were an excellent storyteller. You gave vivid descriptions, so I could see you all in the circle. You know, it was just quite vivid for me. And the way you expressed it and your body language, you did that very well. I would say that you also used suspense to help build your climax, because, of course, I'm wondering what happened. I'm just like, oh, my God, this... was it Daryl Highsmith? I'm like, oh my God, he's about to get knocked out. And then I'm like, okay, no, well maybe Charlie's gonna get knocked out. And I'm thinking, okay, well maybe the teacher is gonna come and grab him. Maybe the teacher finds out what's gonna happen. So you did really good with creating suspense and having that, you know, building that suspense throughout your storytelling and reaching that climax, where of course Daryl, I'm sure, was saved by the bell. The characters were well developed. You being that fifth grader who had never had a fight, this is your first fight. You had your instigator and that girl that you wanted to impress, which I'm sure that's where that adrenaline came from. When you looked into her eyes, that's where that adrenaline came from, I'm sure. So once again, you did an excellent job. If there's anything I could say to improve, I don't know, maybe you could have kept the gloves on. I did appreciate you even taking the gloves off, because I saw how you kind of transitioned and you really went into the story at that point. However, I don't know if you want to see about keeping them on or having that music playing in the beginning. Like you said, that could maybe also give your speech a little bit more life as well. So that's something you can consider for you if you do that speech again. Excellent job. I enjoyed it as always and look forward to more speeches from you. Thank you.
We will now have a grammarian all-counter report from none other than myself. Our word of the day was persuasive. Adrian said persuasive several times, not necessarily when he was asked the lectern. He was saying it a lot at his desk there. He did say it a couple of times when he was up here. Antoinette said persuasive 2 times that I counted. Charlie said it once when he realized it was the word of the day. I said it a couple of times. I don't think I caught anybody else saying persuasive. One of the interesting things that I caught was Jonna's ending sentence was, stop, collaborate, and listen. What I liked about Charlie is when he said, Saved by the Bell. What caught me about that was because that was a teenage show that my kids used to watch. That caught my attention. As far as the ahs and so's and all of that, this is what Antoinette wrote. The speakers today have improved in the ahs. Antoinette had 5. Jonna did not have any. Joyce had 2. Charlie had 1. However, when Nicole came up, she had 4 so's. And she had 2 ands. And I probably had some more since I've been up here. And that's my grammar all kind of report. Now we'll have our timeless report from Toastmaster Leonard Macasa.
Thank you. Well, Toastmasters, we started 2 minutes late, and Dave was not in the house. Table topics, Nicole ran the clock to 2 minutes 14 seconds. Monique did her 1 minute 13 seconds. Speeches. Distinguished Toastmaster Joyce, I gave her some discount because we had problems with technology. She used 8 minutes 12 seconds, and her evaluation from Distinguished Toastmaster Philip ran 3 minutes 38 seconds. Toastmaster Jana's speech, The Road Not Taken. Persuasive speeches today. 6 minutes 12 seconds. That was within time, and evaluation by Distinguished Toastmaster Adrian ran 3 minutes and 23 seconds. The last speaker, Charlie, eight minutes 12 seconds. He was scheduled to speak for 6 to 8 minutes, so he was within time. And his evaluation by Nicole was 2 minutes 28 seconds. Thank you very much. Persuasive job. Well done. Thank you.
We had a good meeting today. The only thing I would say was when it was time to start our meeting, there were 4 people present. We need to do better at getting here on time. We need to do better at getting here on time. Now, true, I usually start the meeting regardless of who's here, but I was waiting for Jonna to get her PowerPoint started up. Other than that, I'd say we also need to do a better job of getting our members here. I don't know where they have been for the last 4 weeks, but for the last 4 weeks, our members have not been here. We also need to do a better job of trying to figure out where our new members are, because I've been holding off assigning them so they could see how Toastmasters goes, but they can't see how Toastmasters goes if they're not here to see it. So if y'all know the new members, persuade them to come to the meeting. Next week we have the orientation meeting. And if you'll look at the back of your agenda, these are our speakers. Toastmaster Adrian will be our Toastmaster next week. Our speakers are going to be Philip, myself, and Antoinette. And I need to check with Charlie because I have assigned him to be timer. If he's not going to be here, we'll get somebody else to be timer. But that's all we're going to have for the orientation meeting. We're going to have that. We're going to have those 3 speakers. And at the end of the 3 speakers, we will present the new pins to the new members and induct them into the club. And for those, to the new members, what that means is you will take the oath as a new member, and we will officially vote you into the club. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I understand. I know there's 3 of you all have told me that you will not be here, but everybody else said they will be here. Okay?
That could be a short ceremony that we could do in future.
So when the day that you all will, when the next week, if you all are here, you will be inducted that week. I won't be here that week. I'll be in Idaho, but we'll let Scott, if he's here, take care of that. Okay? All right, Scott and Jonna, because Jonna's the membership chair. Take care of that. Okay? Is there any business that need to claim our attention? The other thing is, we have our anniversary celebration, and for those of you who do not realize it, it will be our 5th anniversary.
Right. Congratulations. Fifth.
And I didn't realize it was our 5th anniversary until Toastmasters sent us this nice certificate.
Great.
I got it in the mail the other day. I'm going to have our director, Nate Smith, present it to the club at the anniversary because he's going to be here. So I'm going to have him present it to the club on that day. So I want all of you to invite your friends to the anniversary. Okay? Persuade them to come to the anniversary. We will have a potluck that day. So I will send a list out for you to sign up for whatever you want to bring, and the club will pay for a cake. All right, meeting adjourned.